Hey, what's up guys, it's Talon, and this is one of the weirdest games I've played in a while, so I thought it'd be kind of funny to make as a video. Starting off with the draft, as we see here, they end up going with, or we end up going with an AP jungle, and because of that, I'm kind of looking for an AD mid to play. So it's kind of between Corki and Jace for me, and because they're rather squishy for the most part, and because they have a lot of shielding, which I can then build anti-shield with, I go for Jace in this draft. And then, yeah, getting into the game, you can see we're currently ranked 20 at the moment. Their top laner is Challenger. I don't know who else or if that's their only one, but yeah. Going into this lane initially, my main goal is kind of just have the lane pressure against Yone, have a little bit of the poke advantage. Kind of just play around that, use that to have the ability to move, to roam, to help my team out, that type of thing. So you see I'm just immediately trying to kind of pressure him. This is usually how you're going to play Jason lane. You're really kind of very aggressive. Anytime that the enemy walk up, you want to get whatever poke you can on them. And so you'll see here, as soon as he walks up for the last hit, I'll immediately use literally my full combo on him, and I'll still get the last hit on the minion at the end of the day. So getting that little poke advantage and kind of constantly doing that while keeping the lane pushed so that I can level up first. Then you're going to see here, this is one of the rare times where I would take my second ability at level 2. The reason is because of the fact that I'd already used my first ability, so my third ability wouldn't be able to be empowered, or I wouldn't be able to empower my first ability with my third ability, because I already used my first ability, and I needed that poke on him. So I went for the second ability upgrade just to get the extra auto damage, but I usually would upgrade my third ability at level 2. This was just one of the rare cases where I did that. And so yeah, I mean, you guys will kind of see later on in the game what makes this game so weird, and I want to talk about you know, what I do in a game like that when we get there, kind of like playing around a game where you're not really winning fights, but you're like relatively strong and like kind of understanding different ways to win the game, like kind of through side laning, that type of thing, and just like identifying the win condition of this game, because yeah, it's a very odd game where we literally got 3 kills in the entire game, but it ended up still being a very close game and ended up winning. Obviously, I know I'm spoiling the result, but yeah, we end up winning with 3 kills, which is a very odd thing to ever have happen. But you can see here again, we just continue to have the lane pushed. At this point, I recall because I have my boots. I get the first recall, which means I get to come back to lane and be back to lane first. Meanwhile, Yone is getting forced out of lane, as you can see by my Gragas. Shout out to that big fat guy, Gragas, for keeping the guy out of my lane. So I just decided to push the lane so I have the opportunity to roam. I'm looking to defend this dive because I know Olaf is looking like he might want to dive or something. He ends up backing off, and so we're kind of chilling. We don't actually need to do much there. So we go back to lane to fight the Yone. Nothing really much happens. Again, it's kind of hard to actually like fully kill the Yone because he has a decent amount of maneuverability, and he's still, you know, got decent damage, and he has armor boots as well right now. So again, we're just trying to have that lane pressure so we have the ability to roam. That's really all we're ever looking for in this game. And we will be skipping around because, you know, as I said, we have 3 kills over the course of the entire game. So I'm definitely more focused on the macro, not necessarily all the fights and everything, but I'm still, you know, just going to talk through some parts of it and everything. And again, early lane phase, we're just having some amount of pressure so that if we ever need to roam, we can. But the early game goes pretty well for us. I mean, Aatrox is winning lane. I have a little bit of an advantage, nothing crazy. And the bot lane are doing fine. I'm here just trying to poke turrets, see if I can get anything like that, poke the Yone under his turret. I go way too deep here. I don't really know why I did that. I don't know. Sometimes you just do things that don't make sense. That was one of those times. So yeah, I don't know why I decided to poke him under his turret and nearly die, but I did. So there's that. Don't know why, but either way, we're not in the worst spot ever. I'm rushing the Serpent's Fang here, mostly because of the fact that they have a lot of shielding. Syndra shows up and decides to be annoying because that's just what Syndra does best. But yeah, overall, we're still in a pretty fine spot. Gragas, I think, doesn't get this kill because, yeah, like... There's actually only one member of my team who gets a kill this entire game too, and it's my top laner. Nobody else on my team had a kill, which I thought was really funny. But yeah, going through this kind of thought process of this game, you're gonna see like we're gonna be ahead. We're actually gonna be in a good spot, and then fights are just not gonna work out well, and that's where we kind of have to like shift our mindset. But here early again, I'm just trying to squeeze plates out of this because I know like Yone can't really fully kill me. He doesn't have all because he used it earlier when I was being a silly goose, so I can kind of just, you know, poke him out, get the plates, and now I have enough for Serpent's Fang whenever I want to recall for it. But for now, I want to go Herald. This was the first kind of weird decision. My jungler didn't go to Herald right away, even though we have a hard winning top laner Herald's better objective, and we have Prio for mid lane, and he was actually ahead of the Olaf as well. So this didn't really make any sense that he didn't come here. Not the end of the world, but wasn't a smart call by him. Now we also didn't get the dragon, so he didn't get dragon and didn't get Herald, which obviously is not ideal, but either way, at least we got that kill over to Aatrox, and it's not like we're super weak as a team. Gragas makes a little flyby there on the Senna after ulting, and so again, at this point, we're mostly just focused on getting that lane pressure, rotating the fights, and seeing what we can do, which is basically exactly what we do here, but nothing much, again, really happens. We're kind of just sitting here. Oh, I died. I don't even remember this part. Apparently, I walk into everyone and die, which is not very cool, so that was pretty lame of me to do. But yeah, I guess I got caught. I should have been more aware of the fact that Olaf would be there because of the fact that the dragon was just dead, and they were around the dragon area, so it was very obvious they would have been there. It didn't really make sense for me to die there. Not a great play, but it is what it is, you know. Yeah, but overall, I mean, we're still in a fine spot. Aatrox winning lane, we have dragon, we're ahead in gold as a team. Nothing really super problematic yet. My main objective this game is kind of just to poke and eventually one-shot a squishy champion. I tell them I can go bot lane, you guys can go back to mid. They decide they don't want to, so then I shake my screen in anger out of them, or at them. And yeah, you can see that's going to be the last kill of the entire game that my team gets right there, that third kill. We're not going to get another kill for the rest of the game, but we're still somehow going to win. And the reason I'm telling you guys that we win, because I know sometimes people don't like spoilers, is mostly because then I can explain to you guys like why we would win or what we're kind of thinking. Here, I'm just pressuring them off the turret so we can get plates. So this is kind of the first little good thing, right? I see that they're low on bot lane. I know I'm a strong early game champion. I've lost my mid turret, so it doesn't really matter that I'm not mid lane right away, because I'm not going to like lose a turret, because even if they push the wave, they're not going to go all the way to tier 2. So I end up using this time to pressure the bottom lane turret with my team, because I know I can push them off, and my champion pushes turrets really quickly. Then my Aatrox makes a really good play. Shout out to Charlotte. She's a really good top laner. She ends up she already has her top lane pushed out, so she goes and covers mid lane now. So she's covering mid and pressuring mid turret while I get to pressure bot with my team, and so we're not losing out on anything because the top wave is already pushing. So really good play by a top laner to push their wave, cover mid, and then that allows me to have a good roam angle. And so things like this are things that like higher elo players and better players will do, and then it allows us to pressure this turret really hard. And then we can use the fact that we now have the lane pushed in bot lane, and when the turret pushed, to all rotate towards mid, which allows us to get the mid turret. And so we get 2 turrets, and they only get the top turret overall. And then now you see I'm covering this lane, Aatrox goes towards bot, and now our duo lane are in mid lane. So you can kind of see all of the shifting. And it's good for me to be on this side, and for Aatrox to be on that side, because of the fact that dragon's the next objective. And the Aatrox is way stronger than me. So ideally, Aatrox is the one who's in, you know, the vicinity of possible fights, whereas I'm the one who can kind of be on side lane. I don't need to join a fight right away because I'm not as valuable of a member. So we end up doing that, but then I do go towards mid lane, push out the mid, take some of their jungle, go back towards top side, kind of keep this sort of split push side lane pressure up. But at this point, we still think we can win the fights, right? Because, I mean, we're ahead in gold, like, we're strong as a team, our Aatrox is giga fed, so we're still going to go to the fight. It's not like I'm not going to rotate. We're up 2k gold. We are up a dragon. Like, there's no reason not to fight here. I believe Aatrox will rotate as well. And so we're looking for the fight here. We're looking to poke them out and everything like that. But again, when you're playing team fights on Jace, sometimes some games the enemy are just so tanky. It's really hard to kind of get through them, or the enemy just, you know, pretty easy to get one shot or mess up on Jace, like that type of thing. And I'm definitely pretty washed on Jace compared to what I used to be, since I haven't played him as much recently. So you kind of see we're just sitting here poking, but they're eventually getting that Shen ult from the Yone, and we're just kind of sitting here, basically trying to poke them off, trying to get the objective, that type of thing, and it's kind of just sitting here for a while, not doing a whole lot. Yone does a good job of controlling mid lane so that we kind of are pressured to go possibly back to mid. And then Jhin gets caught out there, as you see, and so they kind of just get the pressure over the objective, and there's not a whole lot we can do as a team. Just, again, we keep trying to poke, but I think I go in here and then I miss my ignite button, so I would have gotten a kill, but I accidentally ignited someone instead of Olaf. I was trying to ignite the Olaf, and then yeah, we did not ignite the Olaf. But overall, we get the enemies super low and we pressure them all off, but nobody dies, and so we use that pressure to get the dragon. And again, you see here, the voices were telling me I could go get a pentakill here. The voices lied to me, so that wasn't very nice of them, but they did lie. I thought I was going to kill everyone, but I did not. Again, very washed on Jace, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. And then at this point when we respawn, it is probably best for me to be bottom lane now because of the fact that that's opposite of Dragon again, or of Baron rather, of the key objective. And then Aatrox kind of on the top side. But obviously since Aatrox is currently there, because of the fact that the fight was revolving around there, it makes more sense for me to initially go there and then zone off the Baron. And then because I'm just a goat, I steal the Baron. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. Somehow I did it. It is what I don't know. I stole the Baron. So that's kind of why it's important to have a majority of your team around the Baron side. So to kind of go back on like why this is sort of, you know, a bit of a mistake for my team. If we look back at the situation we're in here, Dragon's done. My team has time to reset. You can see I'm the only one dead. Everyone else, bro, stop pulling up the scoreboard, Talon. Okay, thank you. That past Talon was pissing me off pulling up the scoreboard. I don't know why he was doing that. He's annoying. But either way, you can see my entire teams are on the bottom side of the map and Baron spawning in 11 seconds, which means they haven't reset to spend their gold. They haven't reset to heal for Aatrox needing to heal. And the reason is because Aatrox wanted to protect the turret. And it was fine for Aatrox to be here, but we can't have our entire team here because then there's too many people. We're not getting any vision around the Baron. We don't have any idea of if the enemy are doing it, anything like that. Then you see 10 seconds later, and we still see Soraka there. Then we see Jhin go there, so Jhin continues to go there. And we basically have no vision from 11:50 to 12:20 we see, and then luckily, somehow I steal the Baron, which is very, very lucky. But yeah, so you can kind of see the issue there. But overall, the main thing we have to focus on now is just clearing out the waves as we respawn. So you see I respawn, I immediately go topside, mainly just focused on clearing the wave. And honestly, I don't really care about dying in this type of situation because I'm mostly just trying to get the lanes pushed out. I already realized I've died a lot. So for me, getting that pressure on the top side while my teammates, you know, use the Baron to pressure other sides of the map is fine. Because I know I'm not going to die in a 1v1 to anyone, so they're going to have to bring 2 people. And if they do, we get a turret like that. And we're not strong enough as a team to, like, get their inhibs out of this Baron. We're not going to get some crazy amount out of the Baron. But we can get, you know, a turret or 2 if we have someone distracted, or if we slowly push. Someone else gets caught there. And so, again, we're kind of just realizing at this point, fights are hard. We're probably not going to win a lot of fights. But we can side lane. Like, my champion's good at split pushing. We have some turrets taken thanks to that lucky Baron. I want to make sure I'm getting, you know, my Mortal Reminder, and I'm kind of just more prioritizing these the side lane, making sure I get pressure kind of on the lane. And then here I noticed something as well, which is that the Baron and the Elder spawn, or the Baron and the third dragon rather, they spawn at basically the same time, and we already have 2 dragons, so we don't actually need the third one. Because getting the third dragon doesn't do anything. I mean, it would give us soul, so it'd be useful, but like we're so weak that it's hard to fight, you know, as the team who's just weaker in the fights. So it makes more sense to use the Baron to accelerate the game. So we're going to use the Baron to try to make sure we can at least pressure turrets, and the enemy will likely be distracted. So you see, I'm already calling it for my team. I was pinging it a little bit ago. I'm trying to make my team aware of the fact that we could do the Baron, and we're just trying to kind of have that be our main like possible comeback angle. And so you see we just continue to hover this side. The enemy, they have to go drag because they want to deny us soul, but then we can just go Baron. I miss with my QE because I suck. Somehow I miss the Baron, you know, because I'm just bad. As I'm, you know, figuring out, I might be top 20 on the server, challenger currently, solo queue only, but I still suck. So that's cool. But we get the Baron out of it. And so again, that just pressure, realizing like, okay, our win condition is side laning, is getting the turrets pushed. It's not team fighting. So we're going to do what we can to avoid that. And obviously Baron helps us with the pushing and everything like that. So we go for that. We get that. Shout out to the team for listening on that call. And now I'm pretty much looking to side lane. Here, I wanted to side lane bot, but then I was like, actually, I probably should just be top side. 1, because my Aatrox is already there. And 2, because Elder's the next objective, and I'm weak as shit. My champ is useless in these fights right now. I'm only 3 items Jace, which at 17 minutes, not very strong. And I don't really do well into their comp and team fights. So at this point, I'm like, okay, actually side laning with this Baron, trying to pressure as the enemy go Elder. That's how we're going to win the game. And because of that, I just keep going up on top side. But the very important thing to note as well is you don't, when you're side laning, when you realize you have to win through side laning and it's okay to die and that type of thing, you cannot go too aggro and try to kill yourself too early on in the game. Like if you try to die when there's only like 30 seconds or 20 or 40 seconds before the objective spawns, you're just going to get caught, and then the enemy are still going to go to the objective. So you kind of have to wait until the enemy all show themselves on a different part of the map. or until they actually, like, there's like 10 or 5 seconds till Elder. But here, the entire enemy go bot side for some reason, and then they just let us backdoor them. But then my Gragas decides he doesn't like winning, and he runs away. So then he makes me do it all myself, and that was really mean of him. I didn't really appreciate him just like not auto-attacking the turret, but he did get a nice ultimate off there to protect me, and we somehow backdoored. So again, you saw, yes, a lucky Baron steal certainly made this game winnable when it otherwise wouldn't have been winnable. But being aware of that win condition of side laning, because we just couldn't win the team fights. I mean, we only had 3 kills for the entire game. It kind of made us realize, like, yeah, we just need to play through the side lane. We need to use the Baron, the second Baron, that type of thing. I need to be side laning. Even though I'm the mid laner, I want to side lane on the opposite side of the objective, because I'm the person who's actually weak, and I want to let my Aatrox be same side, drawing that pressure and being useful and all that. So shout out to Aatrox for carrying. I mean, Aatrox had 100% of our kills. Like, I don't know, you can't really carry harder than that. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.